Okay, let's start with a kind of a radical idea. What if the entire point of becoming successful wasn't about what you could get for yourself, but about what you could give away? This is the core of Andrew Carnegie's philosophy, and honestly, it's one of the most challenging ideas about money ever written down.
And this quote, this is his most famous statement. I mean, just think about that for a second. It completely flips our whole modern idea of success on its head. This is a guy who started with absolutely nothing, became one of the richest people in history, and he believed that dying with all that money was a total disgrace, a failure. So what in the world did he mean? That's the big question we're going to tackle here. We're going to unpack his gospel of wealth and try to figure out what it can teach us today about the real purpose of having, well, of having anything at all. To really get inside his head, you first have to understand how he looked at wealth. For Carnegie, money wasn't the prize. It wasn't the finish line. No, for him, it was a massive responsibility, kind of like a test of your character. So here's the bottom line for him. Seeing a huge fortune just sitting in a bank account when someone died was a monumental waste. That money could have built libraries, funded scientific breakthroughs, or given thousands of people a leg up. But instead, it just sat there, doing nothing. That's the disgrace he was talking about, failing to use the power you were given for the good of everyone else. Now, to really appreciate where he's coming from, you have to know a little about the man himself and the unbelievable scale of his success. His whole worldview was shaped by living at both ends of the spectrum, from deep poverty to unimaginable power. Carnegie's life was basically the American dream on steroids. I mean, he comes to America as a poor immigrant kid, working brutal 12-hour days in a factory. But through sheer grit, brilliant investments, and a razor-sharp mind, he builds a steel empire that literally changes the face of the world. And when he sells that company, he becomes fabulously, mind-bogglingly rich. And we're not just talking rich, rich. We're talking about a fortune that would be worth over $5 billion today. Let that sink in. But here's the craziest part. He didn't even see it as his money. He viewed himself as its temporary manager, its steward. His one job was to wisely distribute it for the public good during his lifetime. So, this powerful sense of duty led him to lay out a really simple but powerful framework. He said that if you have a great fortune, you basically have three choices on what to do with it. He laid out these three paths pretty clearly. 1, you can leave it to your kids. 2, you can leave instructions in your will for it to be given away after you're gone. Or 3, you can get to work and give it away yourself while you're still alive. And man, he did not hold back his opinions on these. He thought big inheritances were a curse that basically destroyed the ambition of the next generation. And giving it away in your will? He called that selfish. It meant you were too attached to let it go while you were alive, and you'd miss the chance to guide it and see the impact. For Carnegie, the only real noble choice was path number 3. But just deciding to give your money away wasn't enough, not even close. For Carnegie, how you give it away was just as important. And this is where he drew a really sharp line in the sand between two types of giving. This one sentence is the absolute heart of his vision. He wasn't a big fan of what he called thoughtless charity, which is just handing out cash. He felt that often did more harm than good. It might solve a problem for a day, but it could create a cycle of dependency. You know the old saying, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. Well, Carnegie wanted to go a step further. He wanted to build the school that teaches fishing. He was all about creating tools for empowerment, building systems and institutions that tackle the root causes of problems, giving people the means to lift themselves up forever. So what does this all look like in the real world? The proof of his wise giving isn't found in some dusty old financial ledger. It's all around us, still thriving, more than a century later. This man gave away over 90% of his fortune, and this is just a tiny sample of what he created. He didn't build giant statues of himself. He built what he called engines of opportunity. Over 2,500 public libraries, world-class universities, concert halls, foundations for science and peace. These are the seeds he planted, and they are still growing, still empowering people every single day. And this is why his message still matters so much, whether we have billions of dollars or just a little. His gospel wasn't just about money. It was about having a purpose. He forces us to redefine what wealth even is. It's not just the number in your bank account. It's your energy. It's your knowledge, your kindness, your ability to help somebody else get ahead. So in the end, Carnegie leaves us all with this one final, really powerful question. It's not about what you collect in your life. It's about what you contribute. Because when it's all said and done, the only thing that really lasts is the positive impact you have on other people. The true measure of a rich life isn't what you keep, it's what you give away.